Few minutes. Yeah, what we were talking about yesterday. Yeah. Nice. Somewhere. Yeah, that's exactly what we're worried about. All right, we've got a special meeting called here, and I'll bring the meeting to order. Discussion of the budget amendment here for the Lakeview Center.
I'm going to read the summary. I think it's important for everyone to be on the same page. So this resolution authorizes budgeting $40,000 from Helene's unassigned fund balance to cover higher than anticipated repair costs at the Lakeview Senior Center, enabling co-compliant access to the upper floor. Multiple contractors have made site visits and their initial estimates are significantly higher than what we budgeted in October. Based on conversations with contractors, the project will likely be between $40,000 and $50,000. One reason the cost is significant is the cost of materials necessary to achieve the load requirements. As the building has been modified over the years, the electrical and plumbing work has violated building codes and impacted the integrity of the flooring system. The pipes and electrical work put through the beams must be relocated for the beams to be reinforced. As I mentioned in October, we did do a budget amendment from the general fund in the amount of $15,000 towards this project.
Touched on it a little bit, Josh, but I know that I had some discussion that I heard. So what the initial estimates were looking at the fire damage, not the load requirements.
That's correct.
That's, I mean, because it's quite a bit more expensive than the initial estimate.
That's correct.
That's what, can you explain the difference, like why I think it's like coming back so much higher?
Well, you know, when you start having to move plumbing work and electrical work, you're looking at different trades, you're looking at more money. Whereas if you're dealing with fire damage, you're, you know, reinforcing those floor joists and you're not having to deal with moving plumbing and electrical. That's why it's more expensive.
But in order for us to get up to code for the load requirements for, I guess, the occupancy that we want in the upper floor, we have to move those.
That's correct. So with the plumbing drilled through those floor joists, you affect the integrity of those floor joists. And I'll remind you that this is something that happened a number of years ago and wasn't dealt with the correct way. And now we're going to deal with that the correct way.
One of the things on the holes in the boards, and this is taken from the electrical code 2308.4.2.4. Holes, board, and joist shall not be within 2 inches of the top or bottom, and the diameter of the hole shall not exceed 1/3 the depth of the joist, that is 1/3 of 10 inches. So these are small holes that are in there. If anyone's ever gone ahead and looked at an aircraft, you'll notice that the beams that are holding up the titanium beams, and most of them are titanium, they've got several holes in them. So I just need to make sure that everyone understands that that's really, we could take that electrical line out of the ones that are going in the main, under the main part of the building, put the new joists in, re-drill a hole in there and just thread it right back through. So, I mean, there's many little situations which I'm amazed when they talk about the materials. What are the materials that would cause this to be that much more money? Judging from the plans, this is the plans that Orestes, a firm 100 miles away, went ahead and sent in. And looking at what he's having to say, I don't see anything in there that he's talking about different materials that are so expensive. There's bolts that need to be put in a couple of holes. There's obviously the 2x10s that need to be reinforced up against the the burnt wood, keeping in mind that the burnt wood is still good. If you can't, and this comes from several people that have looked at it, if you can't insert a knife more than an eighth to a quarter inch at the most into the beam that's been burnt, you've not disturbed the integrity of the wood. So, you know, we have to get the wood there, but there again, that was already in that $9,600 bid. I'm trying to figure out where this extra money is coming from or going to do the repairs.
You know, we have our building inspector here. I would love for him to come and speak code. If y'all want to talk about code and all the intricacies of that, be happy to have him come up and do that.
I'd just like to know what it is. I'm asking a question.
I don't have an answer for that, Mr. Mayor.
It's
It's not a bid I put together. I'm not a contractor, neither are you.
I've done a lot of buildings.
Neither is anybody else in this room.
Been a lot of bidding.
I just want to clarify, we're not setting this price tag, right? I mean, these are the bids that are coming in.
Correct.
Right. You know, they were $15,000.
How much of the $15,000 do we have left?
I think about 10.
So 5,000 was for the engineering.
Approximately, that's correct.
Got 10 left and we're asking for 40, so we're looking for 50 to do the job.
That is correct.
What type of a timetable are we talking about?
That will be up to the contractor. I don't have a timetable for that. If it's approved today, money's there for them to start work when they're ready to do it.
But that's one of the things we've never had in the past, has been any kind of timetable. It's just, we'll look at this, we'll look at this, and we just get delay after delay.
Please do.
Delay after delay.
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify, and I think we mentioned this in the last meeting, but it did say that in order to be a responsive bidder, you had to be able to get started and pull permits within 5 days of the award. So we have 2 official bids that have come in, one at 38,000, one at 63,000, several other site bids that have been made, all estimated within that range. But we only have the 2 in, which is fine, and presumably both of them, I'd have to verify before I awarded it that they could start within those 5 days. 38, and then one was 63. Those are the 2 I have officially submitted. The rest were conversation. And the engineering firm did verify that these cost estimates that we're seeing were reasonable for the work required.
Question I've got also, I noticed in the report back from Aretes, it says in here, although the client has requested a temporary shoring plan, Aretes' philosophy is to provide permanent repairs, where it's anticipated that construction effort would be roughly equivalent in time and cost. What is the temporary shoring plan? I've seen you've made comments before that.
We refer to it, and I think maybe erroneously, as temporary because it's not, as it relates to the fix of the whole building. This is not a fix for all the building's needs. So it's part of the repair. The intention is that the floor is fixed, so the floor is fixed.
And then it would be permanent, and then we could be using that top floor
Mhm.
as we have used for the past 100 years.
Yes.
Just want to make sure that we're clear on that. So it looks like that maybe we're going to be getting somewhere. I would hope that we would get this thing done shortly.
Yeah.
Our seniors have been pushed to the curb for 16 months.
I think we're all in agreement that we want it to get this open and get it safe and have the seniors back there. So, you know, the cost is certainly more than what we've thought. I mean, that's been the case with everything since COVID, if we're being honest. But, you know, I think, and certainly Michael, you've raised some good issues on what we're looking at, but I think overall the folks that are here today and that have commented to us, they want to see the work get started on this. So I'm in favor of making this the motion to approve this budget amendment and allocate those funds to get us started on this process.
Any more comments from anybody?
I'd just like to say that it's not that this council was dragging their feet. It's not that we don't want the senior center open. I think everyone up here does. We just wanted it to be done right. And if that's wrong, then it's wrong. We just wanted it to be done right. Not just a quick fix that somebody else after us is gonna have to go back and fix it again. We just wanted it to be done correctly. And I am with
Yeah.
Ryan. I am in favor of going ahead and getting this done.
I agree with Archie completely. No doubt it's frustrating for everybody, but to attribute it to an unwillingness to do anything or that we don't care is just not true.
I never really said there was an unwillingness to do something. It was a time frame.
I didn't say you, I'm
We
not,
weren't speaking at you.
I wasn't pointing out anybody in
We
particular.
weren't speaking at you.
Well, I just hope that, once this, hopefully this will pass, sounds like it's going to, that we won't be looking at a month or 2 or 3 before we get the seniors back in there.
It will be what it is to get it done right.
Well, that's up to this board to make sure that it gets done and gets done. I mean,
We are getting
there
it
is-
done.
There's pressure that could be put
Yes.
on in a time frame to say, we gotta have this done.
Just, excuse me. You did say that they would have to start work within a week,
That was the requirement.
Okay, thank you. so they should be able to start work within a week, and we just have to make sure.
Good.
Yeah.
That's all I was just asking for is to get
It's the way you
some
ask.
type, well, it doesn't matter the way I ask it,
Yes,
I
it
ask the
does.
question.
Yes, it does.
Somebody does, I just want to make sure it's done, so
So
it hadn't been done in the past.
Absolutely.
It hadn't been
There,
done.
motion on the floor.
There is, but look, let's just, to address Michael's concern. I mean, it was implied, but if we have to be direct about it, if that would alleviate some of this. Josh, Richard, Jessica, certainly, once this motion is approved, certainly, if you will, when you pick a contractor, make sure that they understand how we would like this to be expedited and finished as quick as possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Very good. All in favor? Okay.
Your next item will be a master services agreement. Butcher this name, I'm going to say Domacor and Associates. This is for the Public Services Building. We had someone in place, I believe since, if I'm not mistaken, since last October, and they were not meeting our expectations, so we let them go. And now we have a new firm in place to start doing that work for us at the Public Services Building.
What type of costs are we looking at on this?
I'll look at Jessica for that answer.
There's costs related to this contract. It's a master service agreement, just like the one you approved previously for GMC. Like Josh said, they were not meeting our expectations per our contract, so they were released. So a master service agreement, we work off task orders for individual things. And that for the scope of work. So that scope of work is going to be based on FEMA's requirements to have for associated building assessments, scope development, methods of repair, mitigation responsibilities. I'm sorry if this is overly technical or something for the audience. I know it's very boring federal requirements that we have to all go through. But this project is not on the schedule I wanted it to be on. It was already delayed because of FEMA, and the previous contractor was not supporting that. This firm is located in Brevard. They have been hyper responsive, and which is a nice breath of fresh air. So what the total cost of this building will be, nobody knows yet. It'll be dependent on the assessments and determinations made by FEMA and insurance.
What are we looking at possibly for the cost for this group to be doing that?
There's no way to know that at this time.
So we could be 10,000, 100,000, $1 million.
This is reimbursable by FEMA, if I'm not
Yes, this
mistaken.
is a FEMA project, and also we have insurance money. Typically, your commercial construction engineering is between 10 and 15% of your total project cost.
So when you say that we've got insurance on this, this is coming through the league of municipalities.
Yes.
What are the particular items that they're really looking at in this building? That is of grave concern that we've got to have a firm come in and do this.
As a reminder, all buildings and structures in North Carolina, if not an repair of a road or repair of a water or sewer system, must be engineered. The FEMA site inspectors did a substandard job by their own admission of the damage assessment of the building in order to properly scope the project. We were directed by FEMA to bring in engineers to get appropriate damage reports so the project can be scoped. So that's step one.
So we really don't really know really what we're going in for. We're just asking them to go in just to see if they can find something. And I say that because of the fact that building's been there almost, well, not quite as many years as I've been alive. But, you know, you may have a little bit of a problem here, but I've never really noticed anything as opposed to a bridge that got washed out. Or the basement over at the Lakeview Center that's obviously completely needs to be redone.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have talked about this project before and the building is moving.
But
It is moving and there are cracks that are widening. You can see changes. We've had.
So this is
Right.
the public services building, not public safety. I want to make sure
Right.
it's
Okay.
easy to switch the two.
Yeah.
The building had, about 3.5 feet of water. And
Yeah.
the assessment from FEMA was not accurate to get us what we are entitled to for reimbursement and properly scope the building. So that is step one. And then once the scope is defined, as we've discussed previously, then they will have a task order for the design based on the scope that is blessed by our friends at FEMA.
anybody else got anything they want to?
I think it's unfortunate that the first firm didn't get on it quick enough. And I appreciate you bringing back another option and hopefully these folks sound like they're enthusiastic and are going to jump on it. So we need to get some resolution over there. All the buildings, we have many projects, as you well know, we have many projects in the works and this one needs to get going too. So thank you.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Any more discussion? On favor?
Aye.
And then your last order of business is to authorize the mayor to sign the approved proposals with PTRC, Piedmont Tribe Regional Council, for the search of the town manager and the finance director. You've seen these before.
Go ahead and make that motion, authorize the mayor to sign the approved. Regional council.
All right, any more discussion?
Yeah, just wanted to note that we've had lengthy debate around this for the last several weeks. And I think we're all confident in Piedmont Triad's abilities and excited for the move forward.
I will have to say that I won't be able to sign this particular contract here because it still has the typo in it. It says town manager and project manager. It says town manager on one and it's project manager on the other. Yeah. It should be finance director.
So can we clarify in the motion that, once we receive a proposal with updated, accurate language, that we can move forward with that?
Is everyone satisfied with the amendment there, or the adjustment to the amendment? Motion, I mean.
Yes.
All right, if so, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we've got it. Anybody got anything else? Not meeting adjourned.